Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Premier League football returns. It returns in all its glory. We're back to playing Premier League football, and that break during the internationals, I hope you took it in. I hope you enjoyed the peace. I hope you enjoyed the tranquility, because now, from tomorrow, things are about to get busy, and I hope you've cleared your schedule, because in the month of April that we are about to commence starting tomorrow, we have 9 matches in this month. 9! Don't get me wrong, it's great for us that make content on it. We're not going to bat a lid. We literally have so much content to put out now, it's ridiculous, right? So for us, it's great, but in terms of the emotional aspect, if it all goes well, it could be beautiful. If it doesn't go so well, be prepared emotionally, because this could drain you. Anyway, we're going to get into it. Chelsea versus Aston Villa. This is actually a big weekend of Premier League football. We've got all sorts. Manchester City, Liverpool. There's Arsenal versus Leeds. See what happens there. Newcastle versus United. Tottenham on Monday against Everton. See the reaction after sacking Antonio Kante. All sorts going on. So it's going to get tasty. But this game is it's a proper mid-table clash, this. It's 10th versus 11th. And whoever comes out on top gets into 10th. Crazy, isn't it? We're talking about Chelsea in this regard. I have to say, on a side note, it's embarrassing. I don't want us to be in this situation again. What are we doing? What are we doing? Honestly, we're talking about Chelsea against Aston Villa, proper mid-table clash. Even if we win, we stay in 10th. Stay in 10th. If I'm actually correct. Let me check the table, actually. Actually, no, we could go above Fulham if they... I don't know what Fulham will do if they win or they lose. I don't know that. But if we go above Fulham, then we go into 9th. Fantastic. Great. Now, before we get into the preview, few things. Make sure you check out the socials. Links are in the description. Twitter and Instagram, as well as the second channel. A new video will be dropping on the new on my second channel tomorrow. I say new channel. It's technically new because of the new content that's popping out now. But new video will be dropping on there tomorrow. So make sure you guys are subbed. Twitter and Instagram. And let's get into some news before we get into the actual preview, because I have to mention this, right? Kai Havertz and Thomas Tuchel. Kai Havertz has spoken and has given a few quotes about how it would be difficult to say no to Bayern Munich and how he would happily work under Thomas Tuchel again and all those things, right? And I've seen that he's been given a little bit of hate in the same regard that some people aimed it at Lukaku. And I have to say the circumstances are a little bit different, albeit some bits are the same. Some bits are the same because he's entertained the idea of leaving the club, right? And he's made it clear that, with Bayern Munich and Tuchel, it's difficult to say no. Do you have to say that? Albeit he might be being honest. Then again, Lukaku was being honest. We didn't like it. However, the circumstances are different because Havertz has actually paid some sort of due at Chelsea over the last 3 years. Yeah, he's been active. He's been involved. He has already, if he wants to end it tomorrow, he's already written a story, right? Lukaku came through the door, made it look like he loved the club. All of a sudden, I want to go back to Inter. That's uncalled for. Havertz, not the same situation. So for that, I cut a bit of slack. Lukaku never really had an emotional connection to Inter Milan, only up until when he actually played there, right? And then he left and then wanted to go back. Havertz, being German, I'm sure grew up seeing Bayern Munich as the club, right? So even from a professional standpoint, I can understand if he were to talk about Bayern Munich in a certain light. However, it doesn't help because of what's been happening between Bayern Munich and Chelsea as of late, which is, Thomas Tuchel's gone there. They want Anthony Barry. They're linked with a couple of our players. Now Havertz is not helping the cause. So there's that. But we don't think we should throw the same sort of hate that was done at Lukaku to Kai Havertz. I think the circumstances are a bit different. Now, Thomas Tuchel, TT had his first press conference today as manager of Bayern Munich, after actually taking training. And he had words to say about Chelsea. And man, I watched that clip. And I swear I was watching literally head in hand like this. Almost going for the tissues. I'm kidding, I didn't. But man, it just makes you reflect and go, what the hell did we do? What did we do? Why did we have to get rid of that guy? Why did we get rid of Thomas Tuchel? After hearing what he said, he was like, it was a shock to me. I was driving into training and I had the feeling that it was a bit unusual. The meeting didn't last more than 3 to 5 minutes. I'm still in touch with a lot of the players. We still text. We were a family. We went through so much together. The change in ownership, the sanctions, Brexit, all of that. And by the way, Brexit was a factor. Can I just say, I'm sure from an employer-employee point of view, when he joined the club, Brexit as, in terms of Brexit as a whole, remember how long and how prolonged the agreements were taking in terms of the government negotiating with the EU. That took forever. That went way beyond deadline after deadline after deadline after deadline. Thomas Tuchel had joined the club. So I'm sure it was a factor. So he's right in mentioning that. Especially when it comes to trying to buy players, paperwork, work permits, all that sort of stuff. Going to other countries, it's not the same. Like you can't just walk straight into the EU anymore. Like all sorts of things, I'm sure was an issue. But he mentioned, we despite all of that, we stuck together. We were a good, close group. We were a family. I heard that and I was just like, why? And he even said, he thought we had something really good going on in terms of taking it long term, in terms of looking for the future and, building on what we'd done to achieve success. And I think it's safe to say all of us felt that. All of us felt that. We had the doubts, absolutely, in terms of performances. We'd heard whispers, especially after the pre-season game against Arsenal. We were thinking, what's going on here? But it wasn't at a point of, we must sack Thomas Tuchel. This has gone down the drain. Like, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. We were suspicious, like, hey, we got to start getting a bit better. We're not playing like how we should be. But it wasn't panic mode. It really wasn't. And, yeah, we sacked him, and now he says this, and I'm just like, oh, my God. But, anyway, good luck to Thomas Tuchel at Bayern Munich. Let's move into the preview. On a depressing note. I feel depressed. Okay, Chelsea-Aston Villa. As I've said, 10th versus 11th. If we're going to go to the team news very quickly. So Reece James is available. Great news. I didn't think he would be. But he is. So that's fantastic. Kai Havertz is also available. Mason Mount is back in the squad. Won't start, it seems, but he's back in the squad. Same goes for N'Golo Kante. Thank goodness N'Golo Kante is back. And Kante now gets to play his first minutes for Graham Potter. It's going to be very interesting to see how Graham Potter does actually use Kante and how Kante actually plays alongside Enzo, for example. If we're playing in a back three, are we going to play a double pivot? Is it going to be Kante and Enzo? If he does come on, I'll get to that in a bit with the team selection. Is it going to be a midfield three? Who knows? Who knows? But Kante back in the team, very much looking forward to it. Aside from that, Pulisic apparently is a doubt. Raheem Sterling and Fofana both out. Fofana definitely out. Raheem Sterling more of a precaution, but he won't be fit enough to make this game. And apart from that, everyone else is available, I'm guessing. Except Thiago Silva and Aspie. We know they're already out too. For Aston Villa, Kamara is fit, so he's available after 2 matches out with an ankle injury. Then Donka also returns. Matty Cash is out. He's out for the next 2 weeks, so that I guess is a plus for us. Apart from that, everyone else is available. So Aston Villa will be coming with their strongest team minus Matty Cash. So you got to be honest here. Unai Emery, good evening. It might be a good evening for Aston Villa. You never know. And this is what I'm saying. We have to be careful. Aston Villa are no mugs. Aston Villa with Unai Emery have been a lot more disciplined, a lot more controlled, a lot more solid, I would say. And they do possess quality to cause a shock. They do. And right now, in terms of where they are in the table and how they are with us, I don't think it'd be much of a shock if they were to pluck out a result. But we don't have an excuse, man. We really don't. And now this month of April is about to kick off. We can't be dropping stupid points. We just can't. We can't. We cannot. Albeit we've got game every 3 days now. It's not going to be easy to manage. But the way that we drop points against Everton, we cannot replicate. We cannot do that again. If we do that again, this month could be very long. Just saying that now. We need to pick up form in the next, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the next 3 games. We've got tomorrow, we've got midweek, Tuesday, I think. Then we've got the weekend, and then we've got Real Madrid. We have, over the next 3 games, Liverpool included, have to play well, have to pick up results. Have to. In order to build confidence going into the Real Madrid game. That way we can feel like, yeah, we're going to do something. That way Real Madrid can feel like, hey, they're going to do something. If not, it just honestly could be a complete walkover. And I don't want it to be. So tomorrow we have to show up with an intention. You know, we have to show up with a motive. We're going to get 3 points and we're going to do it well. So let's do it. Now, talking about the selection, I want to say one thing before we even get into the starting lineup. I, for the love of God, do not want to see Gallagher come on in the 67th or 66th or 65th minute again. I'm sorry, I don't want it. If we see Gallagher come off the bench in the 67th or 66th, like it has been over the last few games, I'm going to punch a wall. I swear. So, look, I'm all for protecting a lead. If we have a lead, I'm all for protecting it. But you have to measure who you're playing against. If you're playing against that you know stronger than you, well, absolutely, it'd be a bit stupid to go all out guns blazing and leave yourself exposed. But if you are playing against a team that you know you're better off with the ball in order to protect your lead, don't just willingly give the ball to the opposition while they've got nothing to lose. That was Everton. They had nothing to lose and they just gave everything. You know, a top team will probably feel like, hey, you know, this team's got a lead. We got to be careful. They do have quality, you know. And then if we're solid enough, we can protect the lead. But it doesn't mean apply that logic to everybody. I'm all for playing defensive football when it needs to be done. I'm not against it. It's just as hard as it is to play attacking football. You've got to find a good balance. Hence, Chelsea women yesterday. And they nearly let it go. But they done it ugly yesterday. And sometimes that has to be done. But look who they were playing against. They were playing against Lyon, the Champions League holders. Congrats to Chelsea women. They made it to the semi-final of the Champions League yesterday. Fantastic job overall. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't pleasant. There were some mistakes from some of the players too, Lauren James included. But overall, it was a performance to remember. We have to acknowledge that. So overall, you need to find the balance. So tomorrow, I'd expect Chelsea to have the upper hand. We're playing Aston Villa, you know? So hopefully we can shut the game down early and not give any room for Aston Villa to get back into the game. So that being said, let's get into the starting 11 and who I think should start. Let's get into it. We start off in goal. I would go Kepa. Obviously, the lineup is on screen for you to see. Kepa in goal. We haven't got anyone else. Mendy is still out. That is a player that I didn't mention earlier on. I would go Badiashile, left centre-back. Actually, I wouldn't mind between him and Cucurella. But considering that Cucurella will be playing the Champions League matches, we got to be careful in terms of how he manages certain players. I wouldn't mind seeing Badiashile start tomorrow. So I'll go Badiashile for some stability. I would go Koulibaly in the middle of the back three. I would say back three, by the way, because it's what we know best, I guess. And Fofana is out, so I guess we have to go with Chalobah at right centre-back, which is his position, and he's comfortable there. So Chalobah at right centre-back. The wing-backs of Reece James and Ben Chilwell is non-negotiable, so that is without anything else being said. I would go Enzo and Mateo Kovacic in the midfield to start off with. Now, we have to remember, Kante is, I'm sure, going to come on later on. Kante's not ready to play 90, apparently. So Kante will be getting minutes and that will be managed. But that will probably be done later. Kovacic had a great international break. Enzo had a great international break. I'm guessing they're both going to be coming with some sort of confidence. So I am expecting Enzo and Kovacic to play. There is also one other man that we should be paying attention to, and that is Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka we bought from Aston Villa. And every time he's been called upon, he's done a good job. So it could be a case where we might see Chukwuemeka come on for the last 10 minutes or so, I'm guessing, against his former club, where he might actually do something quite good. So Chukwuemeka is a name to watch out for. But Enzo, Kovacic in midfield. And the front three is where it gets interesting. It really does. Because Mudryk is a player that I think everyone wants to see get game time. But we saw it even during the international break. His display against England was not good. Was really not good. And now it's been made clear as to why maybe Potter is not playing him as much. It's clear he's not ready. However, the only way to get ready, I guess, is to be playing regularly and to get himself up to the standard and to adapt himself to the speed of the Premier League, to the physicality of the Premier League, and for him to get stuck in. So I hope he's showing enough in training. But if we're talking about who should be playing in the front three, I would say that considering Sterling is out, considering that Mudryk could be called upon but isn't going to be quite ready, I feel, the front three that I'd say started off quite well against Everton. Felix, Pulisic and Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is someone that I hope has not lost the purple patch. Yeah? Albeit, I wouldn't mind even seeing Aubameyang. But Aubameyang I don't think is going to be playing for Chelsea ever again. So I think we can forget that. But Kai Havertz, continue what was left behind prior to the international break. Right? He was scoring. He was getting involved. Continue. Keep it going. João Felix is obviously going to be the guy that I think is going to make things happen. So there's that. And I think Pulisic, who also had a great international break, is the guy that on the right-hand side. Now, I would throw an exception. I wouldn't mind seeing Madueke, and I'll change the graphic on screen now. Madueke at right wing forward, if you do want to call it that, of the front three. His international break was absolutely outstanding. And yes, he was playing for the under-21s, but what he done against the French, who have, without question, I think, on paper, the best youth team in the world, he absolutely wrecked them. Madueke played fantastic in every essence of the word. So I wouldn't mind him being on the right-hand side to complement Kai Havertz and João Felix. And let's see if Madueke could be a guy that starts developing quite quickly. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Let me know your thoughts down below. But that, ladies and gentlemen, would be my starting 11. Now, if we're going to go into the score prediction, I am going to keep it narrow. I am going to keep it slim. But I'm going to give it to Chelsea because I want us to win. I have to be honest and say, look, we can't write off Aston Villa. I would not be surprised if it finished 1-1. Just saying that. I really wouldn't. Aston Villa are a good team, and right now we're not at the level we need to be at. So I do see something happening in terms of Aston Villa showing up, but hopefully we get the 3 points. So I'm going to go Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 1, and we don't make as many stupid mistakes towards the end of the game, both tactically, selection, and in terms of some of the players going to sleep, like we did against Everton. So hopefully tomorrow, 2-1 win, 3 points for Chelsea, and let's kick off this crazy, intense, mad month of April. Are you ready? Strap yourself in. Put your seatbelt in. It's about to get very, very, very interesting. You're in for a rough ride. We all are. We all are. So hope you're going to be ready for it. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification button to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. I will see you tomorrow after the game is all said and done. And hopefully we're here happy after picking up 3 points and not screaming and pulling our hair out after dropping more points. Fingers crossed. I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. See you then. Take care and peace.